everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Well, this video is inspired by Lauren the Insider, who, with her PR experience has enlightened us into the goings on that we are subjected to with the mainstream media, especially any media with Harry and Meghan. And I just wanted to chime in here some things to reiterate the abuse and also the unconscious influences that the mainstream media has on us. You know, I've talked over the years, but looking into your unconscious and tarot, it's very big with shadow work, which is the same thing, like looking into that and understanding your motivations. And it's a very powerful thing. And one way it's been described is that our unconscious is the ocean, and our conscious mind is like a little rowboat sitting on top of the ocean as we're rowing through. We're so affected. And anyways, she discussed now you remember that ITV interview with Tom Bauer? This is one of a couple of times I've noticed. I don't watch ITV or regularly, just whenever something like this comes on, especially Tom Bauer, because he's always coming out with a book with new revelations. So anyways, when I watched this interview, they were very abusive towards him. They were talking about the fact that he quoted some quote unquote trolls online, you know, those people online. They're like, should we be giving airtime? Should you really be, you know, quoting trolls, those nameless, faceless things online? So very insulting towards any commentators on Harry and Meghan. You weren't people. They didn't say the word people. They said you're trolls. You're these trolls. And they were extremely rude to Tom Bauer and his research in general, his entire book, criticizing everything. And it reminded me of that, I believe it was ITV that attacked Angela Levin. Oh no! In this case, when Angela Levin was attacked by this man, basically calling her racist. You're just a racist for not liking Meghan. He was very vicious and rude to her. So it was like two different cases of elder abuse on national television here that I thought, you know, I found disturbing, especially the Angela Levin one. It's like elder abuse on the mainstream media. And they get away with it. They get away with this behavior. But then from Lauren, the Insider, I found out that she analyzed it from her PR perspective, and she was like, okay, why are they being so rude to him? And then she bring up trolls and all that. And then she realized this is the months leading up to Harry returning for Invictus, and then building up a Project Thaw to get Harry back, building up the narrative. And she also said that she knows that ITV works hand in hand with the palace. They're very connected. ITV is one of those publications that works at the behest of King Charles. Well, King Charles and his team, obviously, not just him. But the point is, the reason these so-called, journalists, I call them talking heads like Katie Couric, the reason they abused him, Tom Bauer, very disrespectfully and obnoxiously, is in order to get on the good side of the palace and Prince Harry, so that when Prince Harry arrived for Invictus, then they would have access to him. And of course, that's what happened, as Lauren explains, with that so-called journalist, aka talking head. I forget what her name was. This woman here. Where'd it go? This woman here. She was from ITV, I guess, and she got access, and she gushed. She didn't ask Harry any difficult questions, as Lauren points out. Didn't ask about the white pill that Harry gave Charlotte Griffith, or anything about Sentabale, or anything about any of that. It was just all, oh, Prince Harry, oh, come to my house, I'll cook you dinner. It was all nonsense. But what bothered me and bothers me about this, one of the things is, we know this stuff is fake, but the fact is they're working for the royal family. And, I found this interview with Tom Bauer, as well as the Angela Levin one, very disturbing. You know, so it's not just affecting us unconsciously here, but it is in a way. It's they're trying to sway your opinion against him, and they're trying to sway your opinion against Angela Levin. But Angela Levin and Tom Bauer are very mature, intelligent people, and they didn't take the bait. They weren't going to start, you know, insulting him back like a younger person might, right? Or someone with a Harry or Meghan would do. He handled it very well. He kept his cool. But they didn't even say the title of his book. Tom Bauer at the end had to say, oh, the title of the book is, you know, Betrayal, by the way. Like, you know, no, it was, they were so rude and obnoxious all throughout. But what bothers me is this abuse. It's disturbing to watch. And the palace is pushing this on us. This was in cahoots with the palace. And I'm like, this is psychological abuse. It's like, this is just two examples, and I'm just pointing it out. It's something to keep in mind that, you know, the mainstream media is not above being psychologically abusive towards the public and forcing us to watch. I mean, not forcing us, but if you watch the news, if you're a regular citizen, you know, an NPC, and you watch the mainstream media, I stopped a long time ago because I got tired of being attacked with their bad news, and they're constantly trying to manipulate us emotionally like this. But it's important to point it out that, you know, this is what's happening. You're being manipulated basically by the royal family via ITV. And it's just one example. I'm sure it's not just the royal family, other globalists that control the mainstream media. So not only are they trying to influence you with unconscious messages and music and whatnot with the mainstream media, they're psychologically abusing you. They don't care that they disturb you. And you know, the Angela Levin one really disturbed me. I didn't, when that man was, you know, attacking her and basically being so obnoxious and rude to her and aggressive and to an elderly woman. It was really horrific to watch. And that this kind of thing would be on the air, you know. And that now you see this, how Lauren points out that when you're here, you become aware of the psychological abuse of these mainstream media that's supposed to be so respectable and professional. You can't listen to those trolls. They're so unprofessional. They're just these nameless, faceless, screaming in the void. I believe is how they describe trolls. We're just people in our bedrooms screaming, right? But they're the professionals, you know, psychologically abusing you with Tom Bauer at the behest of the royal family. And then you have the fact that YouTube and TikTok were compelled to boost the BBC and ITV content under their new government plans. So it's not bad enough. Like I said, you could just stop watching it, but they're forcing it on us, right? I mean, not us. I guess it's just UK citizens. But watch, I'll probably end up stuck seeing it on my screen as well because it's Harry Meghan crap. But you see, they want to force this abuse on you. Like, oh, you don't want to watch us psychologically abusing elderly people? I mean, this is like a conscious and unconscious message about and young impressionable minds that see this type of thing and don't know the backstory are going to see this and be like, yeah. I mean, this seems like there's a campaign by the globalists to encourage people to be very ageist and attack particularly elderly people. We saw it with Meghan and the Queen. We see it with the Karens. They're all Karens. So like anybody, they're always the target. You know, elderly people, elderly women are always a target. And the fact that this elder abuse is being promoted in the mainstream media and being forced on you by the government is very concerning. And this is just one aspect, right? It's just one. Other things they're also pushing on you, like safe and effectives, right? And other things. So that's just one thing I wanted to point out. And the fact that they bring up trolls, I don't want to play the clip, but I don't know if you can see the text there. They're talking about the trolls. Should we be giving them airtime, these type of people? Oh, she did use the word people. And he points out, it appears it's no accident what Meghan puts out. He's pointing out that Meghan instigates people. She makes sure things get out in the public domain because she's seeking publicity and seeks to boost her own image. And say that trolls say that, I don't particularly believe it. It's one of the things she has to face. So, know what I explained, or to quote or use trolls, Tom. So he's going on, Tom, which are universally considered to be the lowest of the low. People that spend their time on the internet literally just to try to create incendiary comments to wind people up. But if your book you're saying now, you don't believe it. So that they're accusing people online who express their opinion. You're trolls. You're just saying things to be incendiary. I'm going to say this right. Meanwhile, they're the ones being incendiary with this interview and attacking Tom Bauer, and they keep bringing up trolls, all those trolls. Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, been obsessed with trolls since day one. And you remember when the Sun, UK Sun, doxed a bunch of people from Twitter and claimed that they were part of a coordinated hate campaign. Right, these innocent, individuals that were just voicing their opinions, and if they didn't say something not nice about Meghan, they criticized her. They got doxxed by the Sun with their picture where they worked, encouraging people to get them fired. And this is what this all comes out to: hope not hate. So I just did a video about hope not hate, and that's what they do. They use their website to be a dog whistle for the BLM followers, Antifa followers, to attack these people. And they did this with Anne Whitcomb. They posted her up on their website, said, oh, she's a racist, homophobe. And next thing you know, she's dead a few days later. And then and showing their guilt, in my opinion, Hope Not Hate ripped down the page. And I showed that in the last video that I did. Well, do you know something else about Hope Not Hate? Besides the UK Sun in 2019 doxing innocent people online, they also, Hope Not Hate was involved in, they were like the first ones here in 2019 claiming that only 20 Twitter accounts were responsible for 70% of the violent, racist Meghan Markle tweets. So they were, Hope Not Hate, it was were the ones, it looks like, that hired with Harry and Meghan Christopher Boozy, because this is exactly what Christopher Boozy did a couple of years later. So it started with Hope Not Hate claiming that all the Megxit accounts on YouTube, those white women that were such a problem, unlike, the innocent Sasa Squad, right? The terrorist Antifa squad, they attacked citizens, particularly on YouTube. They had a channel for being trolls, and you can see it right here in this article that's archived from Fortune magazine. This man named Max Foster said, I investigated racist abuse targeting on Meghan on social media, and he said, one takeaway: never respond to trolls. So if you express yourself online, according to the royal family and ITV, and Max Foster, you are just a troll. You're not allowed to have an opinion. You're a troll screaming in the void. Where does it say? Oh, here we go. After analyzing 5,000 anti-Meghan tweets between January and February, an advocacy group called Hope Not Hate told CNN, big mainstream media in America, that only 20 accounts were responsible for sharing 70% of negative tweets containing abusive pictures and hashtags and memes. And the fact that such a small number of users could generate so much. Of course, this whole thing is a lie. This is all BS. But I just want to point out the lie started with Hope Not Hate. Hope Not Hate. They're the ones that started the whole and got people deplatformed off of YouTube and Twitter, claiming that, there are 20 accounts that are just spreading all this hate about Meghan Markle. They need to be taken down. They're trolls. They're racist bigots, etc., etc. Transphobes, whatever words. The racist was the biggest one. But just bear in mind that Hope Not Hate started this. And Hope Not Hate is the organization that the new Prime Minister of UK, Andy Burnham, has just hired to work with him. So the Premier, the Prime Minister of the UK is working closely with the group that started the whole Christopher Boozy thing of 20 accounts are starting 70% of the hate and need to be deplatformed just and then the same thing. And of course, Hope Not Hate is the same people as CCDH, and CCDH went to Washington D.C. and said, oh, we have these 20 super spreaders, these misinformation, the disinfo dozen, right? And all those, which were medical doctors, experts in their fields, and had them deplatformed. So really, it all goes back to Harry and Meghan's and the government, and actually all goes back to the royal family. It goes back to King Charles. So it shows how coordinated all of this was, all of this psychological abuse that we've suffered coming from the royal family, in my opinion. And Harry and Meghan are just a vehicle of it and being the instigators. But you can see how the mainstream media is weaponized, and how these groups like Hope Not Hate and Christopher Boozy and Centers for Countering Digital Hate and all the individuals involved penetrating our governments, as Klaus Schwab says, to inflict their censorship and the New World Order Agenda 2030. So it's all connected. And again, as Jeremy Corbyn points out, as I have a short about, Jeremy Corbyn said that the Great Reset was started by King Charles. He's the head of the snake. He kicked off the Great Reset. So the most evil one of the globalists is King Charles at the end of the day. But, who knows? I'm just a troll, screaming in my bedroom here. What do I know? That's what King Charles wants you to think. And if he has his way, that's what the only thing you're going to be able to see out there. And they're obsessed with obviously contaminating YouTube with the palace propaganda, just by virtue of the fact that they want to shove his mainstream media onto us on YouTube and on TikTok. So I don't know why that's spinning so much, but that's the way it is. That's what's been going on, and we can see it. And all this, it just infuriates me that the psychological abuse of these mainstream media programs abusing elderly people, and it's all for the palace. It's all because that's what they want for Harry and Meghan, to make Harry and Meghan look good. So this is all at the behest of the royal family, in particular King Charles, is from what I gather from this. So very evil, hates people. You're all trolls, and he doesn't want you to have a voice at all. And he doesn't want Americans to have a voice, quite clearly, by the fact that he sent his spawn over here to try to, close our, to destroy our constitutional rights of freedom of speech. And they have won with the Child Safety Act. The Child Safety Act is going to make everybody have to provide an ID and biodigital information just to use the internet. So unless you use your real name going forward, starting, I think, in 2027, January, a few months, unless you use your real name, it looks like you're not going to be able to use social media. So I know for me, it's going to be bye-bye. I'll tell you that right now. And that's all thanks to King Charles and his attacks on us and the people. And I want everyone to know that that is what's going on, and he is at the head of this. All right, he is the cause for all of this. And, TRG, Lauren the Insider, I mean, they put it all together. They've exposed it all. And I'm just summarizing it here and just reaffirming, reiterating this is what's really happening. So I hope you found this interesting. If so, please like and subscribe. Actually, I'll throw a few cards, right? It's a tarot channel. I got to throw a few cards on this. I'll ask one question about Chuck. So all of this, the censorship, the Child Safety Act going on, the abuse from the mainstream media, I'm thinking King Charles, and on the ITV interview, they kept referring to people online as trolls. They're just trolls. They shouldn't be listened to. That seems to be something that they knew. See, they were trying to make King Charles happy with that. So whatever they were saying were things that they knew King Charles wanted to hear. So that would mean, obviously King Charles hates people. You're not even human to him. And that falls in line with this whole safe and effective agenda where so many people are being killed. Obviously, somebody who is a eugenicist and just hates people, just wants you all dead. You're nothing but trolls to him, and you're useless eaters. So that would, align with the New World Order agenda that he's pushing, that he's the head of. So is that true? Does King Charles really hate people that much? Because he certainly acts friendly to people, it seems, or has over the years, whether he visits on his outings. But it looks like there's some real rage and evilness in him. Does he really hate people, the pot people so much? Ooh, 9 of Cups. So the 9 of Cups I get is a big yes card. And you see in this one, you've got this evil looking cat here, possessed looking cat, and he's got something in his mouth. He's got a mouse there, it looks like. Or a bird. No, it's a bird. That's a bird. That's Twitter. That's your freedom of speech online. And Twitter has been the main target. I think because the journalists are on there. Of course, YouTube has also been a big target, but Twitter was where it all started with King Charles okaying the Sun, which I also heard is a newspaper that caters to King Charles, the royal family. That's where it all started, where they attacked the trolls, the individuals, the citizens who dared to express their opinion about Meghan on Twitter that wasn't entirely 100% positive and gushing, right? So yes, I'm getting a big yes. He does hate people. He hates us. He hates the little people. He's very evil. And he's arrogant. This is a very arrogant card as well. It's like, I have everything, you have nothing, because you're a nobody. You're nothing. So if you're not a Satanist with power, a Satanist eugenicist like him, he wants you dead. Does he want everybody dead? Does he want us all dead? Oh, it looks flipped over. Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, he wants it all, baby. He's a very greedy, and he wants to control who can reproduce. It's very a card of, and also he wants to control who can make money. So that's one of the main things of the Great Reset. You're on the digital currency, and if you say something King Charles doesn't like, they just shut down your bank account, just like they did the truckers, and to the people on the disinformation dozen list, they were debanked. So he wants to control people via who can make money and how. And he only wants the puppets on ITV and the Sun, apparently, to be able to make money talking about royals. But everybody else, you just go die, basically. So, yeah, I think he does. And he wants he's going to kill you one way or another. And one way is doing the digital ID. You can see this as the digital ID that they want to use to force you with the Child Safety Act online. It's a digital ID they're implementing with this ID online. It's all digital ID for digital currency, where they'll control everything. 4 of Wands. And you can see this as, this evil looking creature here in a very stable place and making their plans of rebuilding. 4 of Wands, building their new world order here. Building the structure of the new world order, which is all you trolls, you can only speak with your real name and where you really work, so you can be fired when they decide that what you say is not to their liking. And of course, 6 of Pentacles reversed. So again, all the money. See, the thing with the 6 of Pentacles, you have a very wealthy person on top donating money to poorer people, is generally the traditional Rider-Waite. And this one, it's like a devilish kind of figure donating money to these, looks like young people or children. So that's money going from the top to the bottom. But when you have it reversed, which is the way this came out, it's money coming from the bottom falling to the top. Like the gravity is going this way. So the money isn't falling into her hand. When it's upside down, the money's falling from her hand to his hand. So that symbolizes, in my opinion, the ESG goals, the carbon credit tax, the carbon taxes that Prince Harry is very fond of with his Travelist, and the destruction of the middle class, which is ongoing, and destruction of small businesses. So this is part of the Great Reset. It's taking away all your money of the middle class, destroying them, making them poverty stricken, so they have to go to the Lord and Masters like King Charles for money for a universal basic income, and that gives them full control over everything you say and do, and your existence, your life, being able to eat and work will depend on King Charles and whether he allows it with his digital system. So yeah, oh, he wants it, baby. He wants it bad. He can't wait. And he could care less. Does King Charles care at all of people, especially young people, being exposed to the psychological abuse that he's inflicted with that interview with Tom Bauer? And that's just one of many examples. But I mean, that psychological abuse, really uncomfortable to watch, no matter who you are. I mean, anyone who views that would be like disturbed by it. You know, it's you're supposed to be a professional behavior with the mainstream media, or it's what they pretend. But it was just nothing but abusive. And they were basically projecting onto these so-called trolls the way they were behaving. Really outlandish, really satanic, in my opinion. Yeah, how does King Charles feel about people, the public, being subjected to this psychological abuse via ITV at his behest? How does he feel about that? People being disturbed by this. I think the globalists love it. They love disturbing us with the news. Oh, let it flip back over. It flipped over. It flipped back over. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Knight of Swords reversed. Yeah, he's like, take that. He's like, take that. I hope your mind is disturbed. I hope that you go crazy. And then that's not a surprise, really, because he's the king of the Great Reset and the whole COVID psyop. So, yeah, he wants to destroy your minds. He wants to disturb you. He wants to make you afraid and upset. And he wants to hurt you because he feels like you not having anything less than a glorious opinion of his superiority, you deserve to die. This is a murderer card. It's like, go die. And I hope you are tortured. He'd love to torture people, I think. He's a real sick, evil man. Yeah, you hear about these things. I mean, this is confirming it, you know, this absolutely is. And his evil is not just with what's been done in other areas, but with ongoing with the mainstream media, and evil that they continue to inflict and want to force you to watch and force you offline and not to. The whole point of this child safety bullshit, pardon my French, we all know it's from King Charles to shut those trolls up. That's where it's coming from. And that's why you had a team of people like Hope Not Hate and Harry and Meghan and some TRG covered, some Baroness something or other, going from state to state in the United States to try to push Child Safety Act. And that's why you had James Holt with Harry and Meghan creating this fake, fraudulent, screens to try to push all this. It's all coming from King Charles, right? That was one last card. So King Charles is behind the whole Child Safety Act to try to censor us trolls online. He doesn't want any of us people to have a voice that can be heard. He only wants you to hear his voice that he gives to ITV to do. So basically King Charles controls the media. I mean, that's the way it rolls out too. So is that what it is? He wants to shut everybody up, right? Oh, there you go. I get High Priestess reversed. Oh yeah. High Priestess. It says tarot with this one. Reversed. He wants to get rid of Daily Empress Tarot and everybody else. Yeah, High Priestess reversed is a card of being silent. This is a card of being psychologically abused. This is a card of, I also see it as spirituality that's of a negative, alternate nature, like Satanism. It's a part and parcel. And, there's spell work with the airwaves. It's known that there's spell work behind it. So he not only wants to shut everybody up, he wants the airwaves to control the airwaves, to push his black magic, his Satanism. They push it over with the media, right? There's Satanism within even the news. I don't know if you remember back in 2021 in Australia, there was an Australian news was showing, and there was a quick clip that showed a satanic ceremony, and people caught it You know, it was, I guess, a little bit too long and people caught it, but they actually clipped that into a news segment and they never explained anything. Nobody said anything about it afterwards. So some believe it was somebody who worked at the news station exposing it, or it was an accident. I don't think, it seems hard. That would be difficult. That was an accident, but that actually happened. And I actually posted a copy of that. It was going around social media at the time, and I have it on my Odyssey channel. If you're interested in seeing it, it's there. But they really are all Satanists. And the Satanists want to completely control the online. Yeah, Two of Pentacles. Control, both sides of the ocean, well, the UK and the US and all the, everywhere else. But this is what King Charles has been involved in. He has he's behind it all. He is behind it all for sure. And the Hope Not Hate just got elevated to the UK government. The original Hope Not Hate, the original criminals who censored and deplatformed people from Twitter and YouTube because 20 accounts were causing 70% of online hate against Meghan. They're the first 2019 that came out. 2019, they came out and said that. 2-3 years before Bosie. So it all started with Hope Not Hate. Yeah. And King Charles. Wow. So, and they're more empowered than ever. So look out. It's only going to get worse, obviously, at least in the UK. But this is the New World Order with King Charles in charge of it just keeps on getting worse for the people, or the trolls as he would call them. So I hope you found this interesting. If so, please like and subscribe, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.